My roommate ate my mother's last meal while I buried her, so I buried his gains forever. My roommate Tanner treated our apartment like his personal kingdom, where everyone else just paid rent to serve him. He was the type of guy who would eat your leftover Chinese food and then complain it was too spicy. He'd label all his stuff with threatening notes like, touch this and die, but thought everyone else's food came with an invisible free sign attached to it. The worst part was how he acted like he was doing you a favor. I cleaned out the fridge for you, he'd say, after eating your entire meal prep. He spent $400 a month on protein powder, but somehow never had money to replace the food he stole. I tried everything, labeling my food, buying a mini fridge, even getting stuff he claimed to hate. Nothing worked. He ate it all anyway, but nothing compared to what he did the day I buried my mother. She had fought pancreatic cancer for 2 years, getting weaker every month until she could barely stand. The week before she passed, she somehow found the strength to make one last batch of her famous shepherd's pie. It was this recipe her own mother brought from Ireland, with secret ingredients she'd never told anyone else. I want you to have this after I'm gone, she told me from her hospital bed, her hands shaking as she held mine. When you eat it, remember that I'll always be with you. It was the last thing she ever cooked. 3 days later, she was gone. I put that shepherd's pie in our freezer with a note that said, do not touch, sentimental value. I wrote Mother's Memorial Meal on every side of the container. I even told Tanner directly that this was the last thing my mom ever made, and I was saving it for after her funeral when I could handle eating it. The funeral was brutal. Seeing her coffin get lowered into the ground while rain poured down felt like the world was ending. I came home exhausted, emotionally destroyed, ready to heat up that last meal and feel close to her one more time. The container was in the trash, completely empty, except for a note. Thanks for the free dinner. BTW, it was kinda bland. Maybe add more salt next time? I stood there in my wet funeral suit, holding that empty container, and something inside me went cold. Not angry, not sad, just cold and calculating. Tanner walked out of his room, patting his stomach. Oh hey, you're back.